don't count.
Which is...
But what if you get world record?
Well, I'm a local recording. I'm fly split here. Is everything set up? So this is the first big trick of the run, which I would explain, but nobody can hear.
Oh, hey, you have audio.
Oh, we have. Okay, that was the first big trick of the run. It's called Dagger Early. And we go to the dagger. I mean, we don't pick it up, of course, because that would be playing like a casual. We don't do that. Because after all, no major glitches doesn't mean let's play. Or at least it shouldn't. Like, I mean, there are some runs on the board where I maybe can debate. There's a correlation, but yeah, for now we are through the first 4 minutes. It's actually not that bad that the audio is missing, because A, I didn't say anything because I knew audio was missing in the stream, and B, there's not all too much going on in the intro as in most video games ever. So the dagger early thing saves like a minute and a half or so. You literally approach the dagger from behind, like the corridor where you end up with that rather precise orange jump is where it would be after you pick up the dagger, after going there and everything. It's also a very old skip. It's probably one of the oldest skips we have.
Which is impressive given how difficult it is to do if you don't know the setup.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, combat. Combat is a rather big part of this run. Not because we have to do every fight, luckily not. There are a lot of fights you can skip by just not doing them, just walking past them. But we'll have to kill, let me guess, maybe 80 enemies or so. So we have to do a bit of fighting. For the first enemies we can do the easy combo, just jump over them, use the sword and then retrieve them with the dagger. So you can actually press it really quickly. It's like jump sword dagger, like you can. I'm playing on controller, so I can kind of slide my finger over A, X and Y. And like there's no timing whatsoever. It's actually great.
Real quick, while we don't have much to explain, the very tired man you've been hearing is Tokaloni 1.
Oh yeah, right.
I am Samabam, and Sloa, if I'm not mistaken, under Toka's name on the overlay, it says Fate. I believe that's left over from the previous run, yes? And that should now say Prince of Persia, I think.
Who would not be driven mad by horrors such as I have lived? But
well, maybe I just learned a new speed game. Showing it off now. Couldn't know.
Back to you, runner.
Yeah, thank you very much. What we are doing here is we are jumping on a balcony fence thingy, which is not a glitch because you're just wall jumping onto something, then warding off it. Not sure why that would ever be a glitch. I'm not sure why that question would occur in the first place. Like, who would bring that up?
Or had my
let's calm down now.
Under the burden of horrors too great to bear.
Already getting triggered here.
Either way, I could not rest until I had found her again.
Thank you, Gris Bear. It was indeed a glitch. Yeah, so you might ask why it's no major glitches, not glitchless, like no glitches whatsoever. There are a few minor things we're doing, which I'll explain as they come along the way, but it's really minor, and there are also a lot of major glitches. Some actually really major glitches we are not allowed to do. I think the list consists of, help me out, like 9 things or so. 8, 9, 10, something like that.
I would be more than happy to look that up for you. And I would also point out that another reason it is not called glitchless is because trying to complete this game without accidentally performing a glitch of some kind would be a feat in and of itself.
Yes. It's even harder in the sequel in Warrior Within. Also, did you see that jump around the corner? It was like, mwah, clean cut.
I did. It was beautiful. So, the major glitches are zips, rewind tricks, first-person glitches, lever glitches, boosts, invisible sword glitch, invisible ledges, zombie glitch, trap fall damage cancel, enemy clipping, and ledge storage. And if you care about what any of that means, feel free to check out our speedrun.com page for the game. It has guides and things.
You can actually nicely separate these glitches into 3 categories. First is just zipping, because it's the literal one thing you do in any percent over and over and over again. And the second category is all you use in the zip less category, which are like the rerun tricks, the first person glitches, box teleport, and so on and so on. And there are some glitches on the list which are major glitches, but they're not useful in any way, like that. What was it? Trap fall damage cancel or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly.
Ever done. Yeah, well, what I did there was a skip, by the way. Sorry, I'm so tired. So that was a skip. Usually you're supposed to... This is Sultan's Chamber. You're supposed to go around and then go down a layer and then go around again, and then you're... Where I ended up with just the torpedo. The torpedo attack... First of all, it's nice because you can do it... Hello? Would you... That's funny. That's funny game. That's funny. So torpedo attack is nice because you can do it outside of combat. And that's useful because you can... with the torpedo attack you can fall from a bit higher than normally. And you can land on those few pixels of the door frame and survive. Fall down. Sadly you miss a load trigger, so to continue you have to die on the pole, as I did after getting the checkpoint. That should still work. Yes. Okay.
Oh, thank God! I was afraid you were one of
But
them.
that was a pretty big skip. So it's like a minute or so,
System.
45 seconds, a minute, something like that.
It'll take both
Afterwards,
of
you
us
may
to do
have
it.
noticed Toka take a death, and that was actually to finish loading the room because he skipped so much of it that there was just triggers missing.
Yeah, exactly. So the bookshelf I moved, the area behind that, these stairs, those wouldn't be loaded if you wouldn't die
So
there.
bring it back up.
There's also another no major glitches, another NMG category. Aside from any percent, that's all collectibles, where you collect all the weapons in this game, all the sand clouds, and all the life upgrades. And there, for example, because you have to do that room normally, or mostly normally, you hit all the load triggers and you can continue without dying. But here, because you do that skip, it's a... I mean, I guess it's a small price to pay compared to the time save you gain from it.
Pay attention to the groove.
There is also 100%, which is different from all collectibles because we wanted all collectibles to be fun.
The other one raises
Yeah, for the true 100%, you would also have to kill 160 enemies. That is... not only get all the 10 sand tanks, those yellow rewind tanks, but also the moon tanks, which enable you to use slow motion or freeze enemies. I currently have like 3/4 of one moon tank and now it's gone. Yeah, that's Loudguard, by the way. He's a friend. Just a nice guy.
Honestly, I haven't had the game audio on. Or are you playing in English?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
just one more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing in English since like 2 years or so. It's fine.
Well, no, I'm glad everyone gets to experience the guard.
Fair enough. I also like how the chat is really feeling it. It's cool. Ah, that's 4. That's not cool. That's 4. I'm sorry.
And line them up with their gear.
My bad. Okay, so this was the puzzle. Just because I see levers, there's one glitch I could explain here. Or actually 2 glitches. One of them is the first person glitch, which you can use on levers, for example. What you do, it's a controller only glitch. What you do is you grab, for example, a lever or a box. You go into first person, and you can do very slight movements on the analog stick without the first person mode kind of cancelling itself, going away. So you by moving very slightly in the first person mode, at some point first mode will stop, and your movements will get amplified, and you teleport a very far distance or instantly move a lever or something. I guess it's kind of evident that that's a major glitch. Like you're literally teleporting across the room with a box, for example.
Well, and also through doors and walls.
Yeah, also that. You can use it for clipping. It's not just teleport, but also clipping.
Also, for anyone who did that moon gear pillar puzzle casually as a kid, I would just like to apologize for all of the PTSD you just experienced.
I soon learned to recognize. Yet it was hard to escape the feeling that I had made a terrible mistake by setting in motion
Nice
such
movement
a
there.
deadly system
As
of
expected,
traps,
NMG,
which seemed in truth more
just like
likely to claim
Zipless, to
my
be fair,
life
is a very
than
movement-heavy
that of an
category.
invader that was not
So
flesh and
usually when people start getting into this category, like for example for NMG, where world record is 1 hour 31 minutes, and the first run will usually be like 2 hours 15 or so, and then gradually become lower and lower. And getting better at the movement in this game plays a huge role in that.
Yeah, you
Easy
could
to
very
underestimate.
easily. Yeah, you could very easily land all of the major tricks on the first try and be like 10 or 15 minutes off world record still.
Yeah.
Speaking of movement, we haven't really talked about what fast movement is yet. If you want to segue into that, or I can if you're tired.
Yeah, if you want to do that, would be cool.
So, running on flat land is pretty fast. It's only slightly slower than wall running, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And anytime you are going through water or up a slope, you want to be rolling. And there is one other caveat, which is that if you are moving a short distance from a standstill, it's faster to roll up to like 3 or is it 4 rolls? Oh, okay, now I see why you sighed.
Something like that, yeah. 3,
Yeah,
4,
3
5.
to 3. Yeah, somewhere in there. Because rolls are faster up to that point because they have instant acceleration, whereas running does not. You have to build up to your full running speed.
Yeah, so noticing you can, as you saw there, can literally rewind time in this game, which arguably is a major glitch from a, physics point of view, but not all too much we can do there.
Yeah, I suppose I could give a quick lore update while you make it into this next section. So the game started, and the prince was in his first ever battle. He wanted to make his daddy proud. There's his daddy as a zombie getting shot in the face, by the way. Yeah, he found a magical artifact, and that allows him to control time. And then a evil vizier who had double-crossed the Indian kingdom also double-crossed the Persians. Who could have seen this coming? And now everyone is sand zombies, and it's up to the prince to fix it.
Help me.
So in this fight, you can see these. Every enemy we've fought up to this point has been a one-hit KO, so to speak. You are a one combo, I should say. You jump over them, hit them with the sword, and then retrieve them with the dagger, as you can see I'm doing with these red guards. The blue guards, however, are immune to that combo, and instead you have to hit them with a kind of what do we call those that you're doing with the double tap?
Power attack.
Yeah, a power attack. So you have to knock them down in other ways that are more difficult to pull off.
Oh, yeah, what Vin is talking about, if you draw your sword right before you enter a cutscene, you will have invisible swords, which means you're having your swords out, but it looks like your swords are in, and you also can't use them. It's weird. It's not a major glitch. Like there's something in the major glitches list, like invisible sword after like last sword puzzle or so. Something. I mean, I guess we can talk about it now as well. What you can do later is you can take out your sword before going to the cutscene, like very much in the late game, which takes away your swords. But because you went into a cutscene with your swords out, you will also exit the cutscene with your swords out. Although you don't have a sword anymore, so you have an invisible weapon, which of course is mechanically different from what happened here. See, I still had weapons and they were invisible and I couldn't use them at all. It's a mess. This whole game is a mess. Just like my life, but here we are.
Oh man, I didn't see the second half of that sentence coming.
Ah. Did the game just crash? I mean, yes. But I made it crash. So for that cutscene, after the death fight is over, that cutscene is separated into halves. Like the first half of the cutscene plays, then you can walk into the save prompt, you can save, and then the second part of the cutscene plays. Point is that after you save, you can just reload the save and you will load in after the cutscene. And that second part of the cutscene is pretty long actually, so crashing the game and reloading a save is very much preferred.
Yeah, and so depending on what operating system you're using and what version of game you have and this and that, how long it takes to crash the game can vary. So in order to make things more fair, we have a small applet that you just press a button on your keyboard and it crashes and restarts the game. And of course that's available to everyone. So
yeah.
Again, just to even the playing field, so to speak.
Yeah, so I blanked out for the last 20 seconds, but for like maybe I'm repeating what you said, but if you play full screen, restarting the game by tabbing out and closing it is a lot slower than playing in Windows, and just to even out the chances with this small helper program. There's actually a funny story about, I think it was a YouTube comment under a GDQ run of this game by Hannah Joe like 2 years ago or so, where somebody argued, or maybe it was easy, I don't know, where somebody argued that, well, they're using an external program to crash the game and restart it. At that point, you can just start a script to play the whole game for you. It's literally the same thing. Which
slippery slope, man.
It's
Slippery
honestly,
slope.
yeah, it's a valid comparison.
So something small Toka did there is as that cutscene where Farah, our helper companion I have yet to mention, shimmied through that crack in the wall, Toka went into landscape camera, which if you do that at the start of certain cutscenes, it allows you to keep moving for a short time. In that particular cutscene, it lets you shave off like a second or something, just because you're closer to the door than you would otherwise be.
Maybe could have gone there. Hard to tell.
I'll just wait here then, shall I?
It's a TAS. Well, let me tell you what, buddy. This is going to be the most disappointing TAS you've ever watched. No offense.
Not having a lot of faith in me, I see, but that's okay.
Are you all right?
So,
I heard strange
while we're
noises.
not up to much
No
here,
permanent damage,
or are you?
thank you.
Okay, yeah. In this category, you just do warehouse pretty normal, right?
Yeah, do warehouse normally until the very end.
Okay.
There's so right after this cutscene, the platform after, there's a, well, first of all, there's a lever, of course, to rotate more bridges, because that's fun. But there's also a trigger to load the enemies to the bottom of the warehouse. You can jump around it, and you can even continue without using the lever, which is what we'll attempt here. So we just jumped around it. No enemies loaded at the bottom, as you might see, and now we can do a very precise jump, which I'll probably fail. Okay, was all right. And there we are at the bottom of warehouse. Sadly, Farah died. That's a shame. So we game over, but she's here. When you get to the bottom, you get a checkpoint, and Farah wants to follow you, or rather Farah wants to execute her, like, pathfinding AI thingy program words, but because the bridges are not in the correct position, she just falls to her death. That's how stupid she is. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So, I think that is a perfect time to segue into another lore update. So the reason the prince is not a sand zombie like everyone else is because he has the Dagger of Time, the thing that allows him to rewind and kill the zombies, and it also protects him from their harmful effects. Farah is the daughter of the Maharaja who owned the Sands of Time before they were stolen by Persia. She has a magical amulet around her neck you might be able to see in certain cutscenes, which protects her. And she is also a big hindrance in speedrunning this game, which is why all of the runners absolutely despise her, even though she's a perfectly good character.
Yeah.
So if you hear, just maybe like a tiny bit of bitter hatred in his voice, it is justified, I promise.
Another small thing I did at the end of Warehouse there, so you might have seen, I was walking in the cutscene. What happens there is that you're standing right under the door, and the door can push you into the cutscene. But because you didn't move into the cutscene yourself, the movement lock, like usually during cutscenes you can't move yourself. Like the movement lock is not active, and you can just continue. You can just walk in the cutscene.
Yeah, a very unique piece of tech there.
Let's do it very slow. Oh my god, it worked. Cool.
So if you can't tell, Toca is going the wrong direction at the moment, but all in the name of speed, of course.
Yeah, so I went the kind of back way behind the zoo, which you're never supposed to go. But it's advantageous anyways, because Farah almost shot me. Because no, that's not the reason. Because this fight consists of 5 birds, and each of them, as you see, has to get down here. It takes a very long time. So killing 3 saves actually a lot, something like 25 seconds or so.
Not gonna lie, that was straight up impressive on Prince's part. That was a lot of hand springs.
Yeah, it's actually nice. You can just buffer backflips. You can just hold A and he'll backflip indefinitely. Something I found out a week ago or so. And I've been doing it ever since because it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Can also flex on the vizier pretty hard. Whoever the vizier is, of course.
Yeah, no,
not that we
won't,
would know about that.
Yeah. Thanks to the magic of buffering cutscene skips, we won't be seeing for quite a while.
That's fun. The camera here is really unfair.
Oh yeah, I hate that part. Something I wanted to mention earlier when Toca was fighting the Hammer Brother guys, you might have seen him turn one white and then immediately kill it with a single hit.
Oh right, yeah.
That is one of the powers of the dagger. It's those white moon tanks on the HUD that Toca talked about earlier, and when you use them, you get a really instantaneous kill or a helpful side effect. However, you do not regain one of your rewind tanks, and you also don't gain progress towards more moon tanks as you would from normally killing an enemy.
Yeah, so with these brown guys, you cannot use the usual jump sword dagger combo that will block them, but what you can do is jump dagger sword. I hope I didn't mess up the order now, but like jump dagger is the freeze and sword is instantly slash them afterwards. You might think, well, why don't you do it all the time? It's pretty fast. First of all, takes moon tanks, of course, or slow-mo tanks or whatever. And second of all, we can't freeze too many enemies. We want to have 4 slow-mo tanks, 4 full slow-mo tanks by the end of Hall of Learning. We want to be 1 enemy away from those 4 tanks, which will be 30, no, 63 enemies retrieved. Not killed, but retrieved.
So there, what you saw Toka grab was a sand cloud. It refilled all of his sands and his moon tanks if any of them weren't already full. And if you look below the bottom sand tank, you'll notice a very small white circle. Every sand cloud you get grows that circle up until you've hit 8, and then it will become a new sand tank. Fun fact, since this is a glitchless marathon after all, I may as well mention that if you hack into the game and change the value on that to a number above 8, it does continuously grow. So you can actually cause that little circle to encompass the entire screen.
Yeah, rip the Cribben. What you can do with these spikes, you can roll in between, so it's insanely precise. And if it works, you feel like the absolute king of this game. Which you arguably are not. The game is the king of the game. You're just the, pardon, bitch. In this relationship.
Wise words from the man who has the most acclaim to call himself the king of this game.
Yeah, but usually what you do is, or what you're supposed to do is, you're supposed to slowly walk over these spikes, and then they won't activate. Or if you have 0 health, then they also don't activate, but that's illegal.
Let's calm down now. You can't talk about things like that here. But yeah, on analog stick, if you just press it slightly, you'll actually walk and it won't trigger traps, or at least the spike traps. On keyboard, there's actually a hold that slows you down to a walking speed.
Why are scarabs funny, by the way? So these we killed some scarabs before. Thing is, they can hit you, like they can start an attack instantaneously, essentially. There's no time for you to react. Like sometimes they do this, they kind of fly up and have their orange wings, and sometimes they just boop, and you lose 10 health points. I think it's 10. Should be 10.
I'm personally a little offended that we didn't see more sand animals, you know? Like, we got birds and scarabs, but where are, like, sand rhinos, you know?
Or a sand, like, griffin or something, I don't know.
Oh
get
man,
creative.
That'd be sick. I wonder if they'll do that in the next one. I can't wait for it to come out any day.
Nice.
But, okay, I was gonna say, since I have a little delay, he's not cursing, so he must have gotten it. But yeah, what Toka just did there is a pretty significant skip for this area, and also, if you're not a god like him, somewhat difficult to pull off.
Actually, some people argue that without slow-mo it's free and with slow-mo it's impossible, but factually it's the other way around.
Factually, it's actually very difficult both ways, actually, but...
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's just a matter of what you're getting used to. Anyways, that skip, so what's it supposed to do in baths? It's supposed to clear this area, like, clear the enemies, Pharaoh goes into the crack, you go to the other, like, the second half of baths, do some puzzling, go back to the first half, complete the puzzle, and then you're up here. That's just to give you an idea how much we skipped. It's probably like 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, quite a bit of backtracking and stuff. And the reason the skip is hard, although it may have just looked pretty simple, is that there's a pool of water that's literally there just to stop you from doing that, because when the prince's feet are wet, he can't wall run properly. But
kind of makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, but if you press wall run at just the right time, you're just far enough from the wall, and you're just like in shallow enough water that it just happens to work out.
That's also a very old trick. Like even Michael Yama has done that like 8 years ago or so. Alright, so what I did there, this weird torpedo setup and waiting in the corner and everything, that's a very particular and precise setup to manipulate Farah into a correct position. As I said, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to let her into the crack just so she gets into the second area. If you never open the crack or never move the statue to reveal the crack, essentially, she'll just be stuck in the first area. And this game has a gimmick where if Farah's too far behind, by some measure, whatever that means, you will game over because she floats in nothingness and game thinks that's not allowed for some reason.
Yeah, the area around her will deload and then she'll die from ball damage in quotes.
Yeah, so what I did there is to manipulate her in a really specific position such that if we go into the next area, we do not game over. She's still in a weird state because if you don't die after getting the second sword as I did there, she will stand on the button in that big room and stand there with twisted neck and she won't move, which for the zipless category is very advantageous because in that state she cannot die from you leaving her behind. She'll just load into the next area wherever you go, essentially, or at least not game over, not make you game over.
In case you can't guess from the name, it is called Twisted Neck State because her neck twists like
That's
that
bullshit, by
one
the
movie.
way. That's bullshit.
that one horror movie. The name I can't think of where the girl's head spins all the way around, but you get the. Also, something kind of neat that we glanced over right before Toca broke the wall, which he can do now because he just got a upgrade to his sword.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Second sword can break well. That's the point where you have to do the puzzle in the first place because your first sword is not strong enough.
Right.
Like there's I think you know that better. There's a voice line when you try to break that wall with your first sword. The first
yes, the exorcist thing.
I'm not Rustam or whatever. Fuck, he says.
So yeah, right before Toca broke that wall, he ran into the corner for a moment, and then all the enemies suddenly disinterested in him. Funnily enough, the way they designed battles in this game, or maybe fights is a better word, but they're like hand-drawn like areas, and within that area is where the AI is active. So if you find a tiny sliver of a place where you can stand that's outside of that area, you just are completely ignored by the enemies, which is what allowed him to target the wall instead of the enemies.
So you can see the freeze mechanic again. The slow way of killing the enemies with freeze is freeze them, then to use your sword once, then use it a second time, which will, especially the second sword hit, he will do a weird air roll thing. Like, it looks pretty cool, but it's insanely slow. So the jump, freeze, kill, it's way faster. If you want to use it.
In this case, the slowness was actually advantageous, though, because he wanted to not kill that enemy, because killing that enemy would have spawned the next wave.
Yeah, exactly.
And by keeping them off of him, he was able to break the wall down.
Yeah. So how fights work in this game, the enemies spawn in waves. It's not like, oh, there are below 3 enemies, some enemy will spawn. That's not how it works. So, for example, for that last room, the Daybreak room, the first wave consists of 4 enemies, so you can just retrieve 3, knock down the 4th one, and bail, essentially, and you're out.
Fair is not so good there.
Yeah, if Farah dies, then everybody in chat gets to take a drink. Of course, I have to rewind then.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the reasons the runners hate Farah, is there's some RNG involved with how much enemies will damage her, because one of the main fight mechanics of this game is your partnership with her and having to protect her while she takes down enemies with you. And so, we just leave her behind, and sometimes the game punishes you for that.
Okay, so what we did is we skipped this fight down the mess hall. Whoever missed that, we didn't do the fight. We just left. That's actually a non-trivial thing, because as soon as you leave the mess hall area with the enemy still at the bottom, like if you leave it normally, Farah will slowly lose her health because you're leaving her behind in battle. And then doing all the things I did here to get up, let her up, get the checkpoint or whatever, that's actually very difficult. And what that also side note, that's something we did after the dead fight, where we left Farah behind on purpose and went to the next checkpoint. And right as we activated the checkpoint, she died. We game over it, reloaded, and she was fine, and we were at the checkpoint. So that was advantageous. But here, what we did is we let the door push us outside, and that for some reason makes the game say, no, Farah's not far behind, she's fine. And I mean, don't mind if I do, honestly.
Yeah, that's one I don't think we'll probably ever understand. But for whatever reason, getting pushed by the door, the game treats very differently than you just walking through the door frame.
I was thinking I did explain the cutscene walk after warehouse, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did. So there's something similar happening here. The door kind of pushes you outward, but it's not your own movement. And for some reason that makes the game say, because you didn't move outside on your own, but kind of got pushed out, it's fine. I don't know. But we don't have to understand. We just have to play this game. Which is a burden in itself.
Certainly not self-inflicted or anything.
Yes, exactly. I was forced to participate in this marathon. I'm here against my own will. I'm not, by the way. That was a joke. Please, nobody call the police. I'm fine.
I was gonna say, it might surprise you considering that he and I are currently an ocean apart, but I actually have a gun to his head.
It's a pretty big gun, honestly, then. Okay, so here's the Farah climbing. The way she climbs, like she's walking into the wall for a second, then jumps up. I feel like that's a major glitch, but what say do I have in this?
Our AI partner has invalidated this run. Please ban.
Okay, it's time for the strip club. In the strip club right here. Boom.
Very traditional Prince of Persia here, with 2 of the 3 trilogy games. The prince just stripping down as he becomes more battle damaged. It just wasn't enough to have the sexy AI companion, you know? They had to make the protagonist sexy too, and I appreciate that. True gender equality back in the early 2000s.
Actually, at the start of the game, we already lost our hat thingy, like the first 4 minutes or so you play with the hat thingy and then you lose it. Whatever the name is, I don't know.
Thank goodness for that, right?
I wouldn't...
my god, does it make him look like a dork?
That's true. Also, I wouldn't even know what to call that thing in my native language, so... let alone in English. I just say hat thingy, that's fair enough.
English speakers in the chat, beret? Does that count as a beret? I don't know much about military adornments, but I feel like that.
I mean, I can kind of see the resemblance.
I knew that hole was there. I just wanted
but you know, I did not major in Persian history, so I will defer to the chat on this, because obviously they did major in Persian history.
Vin did for sure. I know that for a fact.
Also, Farah cheating, just literally being ignored by all of the enemies. So here, one of the birds flies lower, and it's random if he's on the left or right. So Toca tried to dodge him, but unfortunately it was just a tad too slow. We're asking the hat the prince wears at the beginning of the game. You would have to like look up a video or go back to the beginning of this section of the VOD to see it.
Pardon me? It actually makes no sense. Like 1, 2, 3, and then you drop, and then you land here, as I just did. But for that, the game just didn't care. That's interesting.
Oh wait, that's a thing.
Yes.
That's a cool thing.
That's pretty
How
cool.
much slower is that than what is done in Zipline?
Down below, there's a great open balcony.
It's...
Come on.
What? That legitimately does not make any sense.
That was a major glitch.
Oh my god. So there's another skip you can do. There's the rubber list, and what I did there is I think it's like 1 second faster or so.
Interesting.
Found by RL Evader. It's like a few months ago or so. It's pretty cool. maybe I should just stop. I think this is the time where I say yes, yes. Let's just.
So
Go to
earlier
bed.
there was a very wonky looking cutscene because Toka did one of those wall jumps through a doorway. It saves almost no time, but it does make the cutscene look funny, which is great. Here, though, it actually skips a cutscene altogether because he literally jumped over it.
Find your way there.
Of course, finding my way to the baths from here should be easy.
Good.
And then he did a wall run and then rewound it in order to hit a load trigger so that he could do the skip, which you just have
I'll
seen.
just ask the first sand creature I run into. Could you direct me to the baths, please? Well, thank you. Don't
Yeah, it's a
mention
pretty
it.
intuitive
Bath
skip. You could
attendant
just
back
wall jump onto the outer wall, and then walk around the area
I'll
to the
meet
end.
you at the baths.
It's pretty neat.
She orders me around as if I were a servant. It's my own fault.
As mentioned earlier, the dive attack actually lets you fall from a slightly higher height than a normal like
I've
jump,
been too indulgent.
which is actually necessary
because
to
I got
survive that little fall he just
Well,
did
it
there.
stops now. From now on, she'll have to
Yeah, the
toe
casual way
line.
would be to
That is.
activate a ladder, and then
Oh,
slide down the ladder.
You've been waiting here all this
And
time.
I mean, it's slow.
I didn't
Evidently,
realize
it's slow.
you made these baths.
So we just torpedo
How
down
about
there.
the other baths? Clear
You can do it
across
from
the other
either
side.
corner, but obviously,
And a lovely
if you want to
wash.
go left, you start from the right corner because you torpedo down diagonally.
Right there. Stop talking to yourself.
People say from the left corner it's easier, but honestly, it's just wrong.
I mean, in my
literally
experience,
no
it's
difference.
exactly, it's the same on both sides. I know that, and I'm bad at this game.
I mean, you're saying that, but you have the American record for zipless, don't you? Am I mistaken?
Does Curly run zipless?
Yes.
Is my reaction to that. If he does, probably not anymore, I would imagine, because I never got sub 120.
Yeah, no, then you're still the best American zipless runner. 90% sure. I mean, we can just look it up, but pretty sure.
Oh man, it's,
Glad to
What
have
if
the
I-
elite comment with me.
what if I had the leaderboard open or something, and I thought to look at it? Yeah, Curly is 2 places below me. Shame.
Curly even trying, dude. Yeah, so apparently the list of major glitches is incomplete, because not breaking the pot there is also a major glitch. Apparently, because whenever you don't break the pot, everybody just loses their fucking shit and says, go back and break the pot. Which after you do the war run is impossible, unless you die, so...
The pot is satisfying to break, and Twitch chat can be a bit unforgiving.
I see PoP 3D in chat. Well, Sam, great that you're here. This is made for you. Whatever discussion comes up in chat now, please lead it, guide it, destroy it, I don't care. Do something.
PoP 3D is a fantastic speed game. The Great Simico? And while my compatriot here goes absolutely bananas, I would like to encourage you to join our server and learn the route, find new glitches and skips for us, because no one's actually running it right now. You could have world record. You could displace the one and only Katarev.
Alright, so I'll take the easy way here and say those two missed jumps on the stalagmites or whatever the fuck it's called. That was not my fault. That's the controller. I'll just say it right now. It was not me. The controller is miscalibrated. It has to be that way. Because I'm
Toka,
never missing these jumps.
You kind of sound you're miscalibrated. Just at the.
I mean, yeah, that's accurate. How do I recalibrate myself?
You have to use this thing I believe is called a bed.
Oh, I see the Dreamcast version. Superior speed gaming.
Oh yeah, that is actually the version of the game that I run, Simico. And, if you want to keep finding more skips for that, that would also be fantastic because that benefits me directly.
Okay. So one question you might ask as a viewer now is whether or not I've considered just giving up, and the answer is yes, actually. Just looking at my gameplay, I better have. This is fine. Don't mind me. That's actually bullshit. Gonna call
For anyone
That's
who is, please do not let his ranting concern you. He's still going to beat second place.
Okay, I'll try once more, but honestly, it's a controller. It's not me. Controller's at fault. Okay, if I don't get it now, I'll just quit. Okay, whatever. Fuck this skip. Just not do it. Skip saves like 10 seconds or so, but well, I guess I'm not doing it, of course.
So yeah, a really cool minor glitch that he did there that allows the skip is that if you jump onto the beam, but like it kind of, this game locks you onto beams, and if you jump onto the beam from a weird angle, it doesn't lock you on, and then suddenly you can walk on it like it's normal ground, which is what would have allowed him to do the skip had it worked.
It's actually pretty close to dying there. Good thing I'm the best at this game. Evidently.
You know, it's funny because every time you make a deprecating joke about yourself, you're actually in a way insulting literally every runner on the leaderboard underneath you, which is all of them. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That was a really cool trap that I have probably never personally seen since I beat this game on PS3 many years ago.
Of course that worked. It's a really small optimization. You can jump off the wall onto the beam. It's a pretty specific. It's a mixture of precise and specific. That's how specific, precise it is. Jump. Like if you go too late, you're getting locked on by the balancing beam. Well, if you go too early, you die, of course, as you've seen. There's one skip, not skip. I mean, yes, skip, but also major glitch you could do here. It's called the zombie glitch. This is one of the spots where you can activate it, and usually the one spot where it's used in the zipless run. Oh, that's funny. Apparently I cannot jump off a wall, which is just... Jump off! Oh my god.
Did you die?
No.
Okay.
Should've.
So as why don't I take over talking for a bit, buddy?
It.
You just focus. Let the positive vibes
There's
flow.
no focus to be had here, but please go on.
The zombie glitch, you die right as a cutscene starts, and it never game overs, so you just continue playing with 0 health, and it causes things like spike traps to not activate. Enemies don't care about you. It basically just makes the game a lot easier, and yeah, allows for some pretty nice skips.
There's
Yeah,
also
but
pretty
yeah.
big disadvantage to that because you don't activate any checkpoints or save points.
Yeah, there's also that.
So it's really nice to use in zipless because you can roam through this area, do some skips without having to care about the enemies, which usually are a problem. But
Kind of
at some
a
point
Prince
you
of
want,
Persia tradition.
yeah. But at some point you want to get a checkpoint in Death Abuse for Farah to follow or save or something, and so at some point you have to refill your health. You can still drink normally, you're totally fine. But I'm not sure where I was going with the second half of the sentence, so I'll just leave it at that. Zombie glitch, advantage and disadvantage, but very useful in zipless. Also major glitch. Another major glitch is combat in this game, as you might see in the next 2.5 minutes. If there are any donations, feel free to read them. Ah, that's funny.
Don't remember if we've actually fought them up to this point, but I mean, I don't really know what to call them. The hookers,
The
they
women,
are,
the female enemy.
I guess, they are technically the only variety of enemy that's like obviously.
Can't say that in 2019, but yeah. They.
I mean,
we haven't fought them.
They're very clear. They're very clearly bathhouse attendants, and I'm going to call them hookers anyway.
That's true.
They're a big pain to fight. Like the blue guys, you cannot jump over them. Although with the blue guys, you just can't jump over them.
Wait,
at all.
wait! You can jump over them.
Yeah, I'm leading to it.
Okay.
But when you jump over them, you cannot do the dagger combo to instantly kill them, like you can with the smaller brown guys with hooks, for example, because
okay,
they will block the attack, which makes kind of like a in between in terms of how hard they are to kill.
But I just used the dagger combo. Sam, you spilled bullshit. Like there, another one.
You cheated.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah, so what Toca is doing is he is using slow motion to make that combo possible, but he's doing it so expertly that you basically can't tell. Primarily because he wants to make it look cool.
2 missed torpedoes. 2 shots. 2 drinks, or whatever. Yeah, so what's happened with these female enemies is jump over them. Sword. I already pressed sword dagger, but I'm not sure why I slow-moed here. At some point you, like right before the dagger would hit, you slow-mo, and right when the dagger hits, or right after the dagger hits you, you unslow-mo again. That's fast, and if you're fast enough, you can't even tell. I got the skip by the way, it's cool.
Very nice, very nice.
Done.
Also, I'm 1.5 minutes behind world record, but who cares at this point?
Oh, so terrible. So bad. Over halfway through the run and 1.5 minutes behind world record.
Yeah.
Just pathetic. Certainly not impressive to do on the spot marathon.
Okay, so what I did there was a skip. It's, if you know how it works, it's pretty intuitive, I would argue even. So what's supposed to happen there? You end the fight, you go into the save, cutscene's over, and then you move the statue to unravel a crack. Pharaoh goes through, opens the door, and you continue. That's what usually happens. But what we did is we moved the statue in the fight, and we ended the fight very close to said crack. So the game already triggers Farah going into the crack and opening the door before taking the save. So after we take the save and reload the save, it's already open. You can just walk right through. It saves something like 30 seconds or so, surprisingly much. I want to say that's surprisingly many. Surprisingly many seconds. I mean, I guess that works. That's kind of weird. Okay. So right now I retrieved 63 enemies. And I'll keep one enemy alive to not make the next wave spawn. Because that's funny. The first wave in this room consists of 6 enemies, and the next one is like a lot more. Whatever that, like maybe 20 or so. I don't know. So really don't want to trigger the second wave, otherwise you'll have a problem.
And because 64 is a multiple of 16.
Oh, it is actually. Wow.
Which is the number of retrieves you need for each moon tank. Once he gets the 64th, it will activate that 4th moon tank.
Yes.
And
also fill all of them up right away.
Yeah. Yes, that as well. And a fun mechanic in this game, which is kind of interesting because you can, in a way, you can screw yourself out of not being able to use it after you've unlocked it for the first time. But if you have the exact same number of sand tanks and moon tanks and they're all full, you can expend them all in order to basically slow down every single enemy and give yourself the ability to instantly teleport to them to kill many, many enemies very quickly. It's kind of like a super move, if you will, of the Prince, and if used in the correct spots, it can speed dramatically.
Also called the Mega Freeze.
Yes.
Lasts around 10 seconds or so, I would say, right? Was this a damage boost? Actually, can talk about damage boost now. That's funny.
Technically it was. That was a major glitch.
Yes.
So in order to make the run valid, Toca rewound to before it happened.
Where is that glow
That is
coming
in the
from?
rules for this game. If you die to redo a section or rewind to before the major glitch happened, then it no longer disqualifies your run.
Yeah, so I mean, a damage boost is a well-known trick or glitch in many games. It's like you're doing some upwards action, like jumping or whatever, and then you get hit and you boost upwards, or similar techniques.
In
Damage
this
boost.
game, however,
What's that
it has
supposed to mean?
a interesting property
If you want to be useful,
that if you do
try
it while
finding a
slow
book
motion
that'll
is
tell us
active,
how
it
to
will
get
shoot
out of
you
here.
up very far, much farther than
Game?
expect.
She thinks this is a game.
That was a skip, by the way. It was a pretty big skip, actually. Skip's having to do all these weird puzzles in this room with Farah. So where I'm right now, you're supposed to be at after you cleared the whole room. This is where you're supposed to end up. And the problem is that Farah only can do the puzzle with you if the fight is done, because else she will just focus on the enemies and do the fight. This is also the reason why when we leave this area, Farah will not follow, because there's still active enemies at the bottom. Which is not a problem for us, just to illustrate my point. That not doing the skip would mean you have to do the whole fight and then do the puzzle. Which is probably saves like maybe 4 minutes. With a lot of these skips, it's hard to tell because it has been absolute ages until I did a room the casual way. It's a completely different era even.
When is casual %, to be honest? Also, if I'm not mistaken, this sword has no new powers, it's just stronger, is that correct?
Yes. I mean, I guess it depends what you define as power. If power means that your torpedoes can get blocked now, then that's a new power.
They can get blocked now? Is
Yes.
that what you said?
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen with the other sword.
Exactly.
That is glorious. I actually, that's beautiful.
Yeah, generally speaking, this sword is stronger if you use it for normal combat, like just normal attacking, but in speedrun nobody would ever do that. Like, just attacking is the worst way of combat you can do in this game. It's the weakest form of combat. So the one benefit of the sword we don't get, but we get all the disadvantages, which is more countering of the enemies. But you can counter their counter and retrieve them instantly if you have good reflexes, so that's cool. Also, behold the Mega Freeze right here. So you saw I killed or I retrieved enemy 64, which filled up the 4 moon tanks and instantly enabled me to do this Mega Freeze thing, which runs out as soon as the blue. It's not blue. I don't know what this color is called in English. Turquoise. I don't know how to fuck.
Yeah, I would call that turquoise.
Do you actually pronounce it like that? Okay.
But toca, it's so obvious. I mean, it has a QU in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Turquoise. Ah, that's funny.
Imagine getting torpedo blocked by a So fun aside, in Zipless, which for a long time was the more popular category, I feel like a lot of people got burnt out on it and have transitioned to this category as of late.
Yes.
But Zipless for a very long time was much more popular, and this particular fight, you're actually in a glitch state where if you die, your entire run is over because you have had the zombie glitch and you don't have any usable checkpoints for like a very, very long time. The last checkpoint you have actually will just put you in a game over loop. So that fight traditionally is incredibly stressful and often terrifying, but in this category it is just nothing more than a fight.
Yeah. I mean, the fastest route in Zipless doesn't even do that fight. It carries the zombie state over to the next corridor.
True, I stopped running before that was a thing. So.
Yeah, it's like that's the more beginner-friendly strat. Like carrying the zombie until this corridor here means you have to do a very stupid rerun trick.
The gate's open.
And don't want to do that. Also, we didn't really explain any rerun tricks, but I don't care enough, so I can just carry on.
Come on.
Explaining so many things just catch.
You rewind more than once, and tricks happen.
Let's see where this corridor goes. All right, you can take the crap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy actually. Nobody knows how it works mechanically, like in terms of engine or whatever, but the effect of it is pretty simple. Rewind twice to the same point, some specific action, and the action will get prolonged or whatever.
Do you think I can jump it?
Go on, try.
Like if you, for example, if you rewind trigger vertical war run correctly, you'll get a higher war run, which is a skip used in like 4 areas from now in Zipless. Of course, not in this category. It's a major glitch after all. Ah, damn.
Missed the frame perfect.
I'll meet you on the other
Yeah.
side of that gate.
Careful.
You be careful.
So what you can do there is you can let go of the lever right before the cutscene would play. I think it's 1 or 2 frames. It's kind of hard to tell exactly
Here I am.
without test tools, but it's an insanely small time window. And if you let go of the lever late enough, then the prince will, not the prince will, the door will open, not the prince will open. That would be kind of weird. The door will open, and the cutscene won't play. That's the cool thing. Saves like 8 seconds. I'm doing this because I'm stupid.
Yeah, so Toka's currently going for an insanely precise trick
It's
that's
easy, you just do it.
it's really hard to do even when there are no enemies around. But he can do it consistently because he is not human.
I mean, in runs, I don't even go for it anymore because of too much time saved in other places. It only, quote-unquote, saves 15 seconds over the other speedrun route. There's actually a lot of tricks and small skips you can do in this area.
Yeah, this is a really, really cool area with lots of different routes.
Funny. That also wasn't intended, by the way.
A very cool skip there. Very reliable. Like if you jump off the same place every time, it just works. But yet you will always miss it probably like at least once. Or like.
Yeah, I mean if you fucking suck, that is, of course.
Yeah, I mean like 3 or 4 times if you're as bad as me. If you're only as bad as the world record holder, then you'll probably only miss it once.
I actually haven't failed that in such a long time.
Look, that's the bridge to the Tower of Dawn.
Unironically. That's also only quote-unquote 5 seconds. I think it's 5 seconds faster than the casual-ish way down.
Yeah, but that way sucks.
I mean...
That's my entire argument. So it just sucks.
Fair enough.
So you might have noticed that it's time for, the lore update. We're a little behind on lore updates, I feel.
Yeah.
You might have noticed that the sky is all like apocalyptic and stuff, and that's because the Vizier, whoever that guy is, he's got the Sands of Time now, and he's like a wizard, I guess, the best way to describe it, and he's using his wizard powers to do spooky stuff. Also, hot stripping scene coming. And I will actually be right back. Please don't fall asleep while I'm gone.
A prison. In my father's palace was a prison much like this. I had never set foot inside. Now here I was, myself a prisoner, seeking an escape.
Oh, we're back. Okay. Video games. Right here. We're in the prison. And we're going to the bottom. Mostly casual, but there's a cool little jump we can do here. That doesn't save as much time, but this war on here, that one saves like 20 seconds or so. I'm mostly making up these numbers because I can't focus, but it's like whatever I say, it's plus minus 50% at worst. So it's anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds for sure. You essentially skip one whole layer of these retractable platforms on the wall. So upcoming is something which is, and I want to clearly state that not a what's that print? Which is not a major glitch. It's not even considered a glitch in the first place. Although it might look like it, but I'll explain what happens. So I'm giving up. I'm not even explaining anything. I'm straight up giving up here. I'm just embracing this pit and cutting the stream. That was funny. Okay, let's do it again. Maybe I shouldn't say things. Maybe I shouldn't say things before they actually happen. But like try to explain things in advance, but they don't actually happen. Let's try that again. What I'm doing now is not even faster. If you hear that once, faster to just get the box, put it on the button here. Okay.
So what he's doing here is a major glitch.
Sam, did you even fucking listen to me? I very clearly said it's not a major glitch.
I didn't listen to you because I wasn't back when you were saying.
Yeah, but that sounds like a you problem. Then can't do anything about it.
It is entirely a major glitch, and I will go to my grave believing that. But hey, if you wanna
Where
Do you
were
want
the
to
men whose
disagree on
trade
something
had
that's
been to
very
apply
clear cut like this? Go for
to
it.
extract the answer their king sought?
Also, while I was gone there briefly, I caught up on
In the
all
end,
of
they
the
had met
drinks
the
that I
same
had
fate as
missed
their victims.
from the drinking game
Guards and
this whole time.
prisoners
So
lived
Sorry
if you
to hear
don't
that.
sands of time.
if you don't speed up, I will in fact die of liver damage before you finish. So
All right. But to actually explain what happens there, the Mega Freeze mechanic makes you... The Mega Freeze
Oh, nice.
mechanic
Nice
makes
damage.
you... I'll just wait for these spats. I'll just straight up wait. Don't care. And the Mega Freeze mechanic, as you saw, can make you go very fast from enemy A to enemy B. It's so fast, in fact, that the game doesn't even recognize the path you traveled in between. For all the game cares for all its worth, you're just teleporting from A to B. And what you're doing there is you're standing on the button, you're Mega Freezing, you're teleporting to an enemy which is not within the like button trigger radius, however to call it. Like you're teleporting so far away that the game thinks, well, you didn't leave the button is still pressed. The argument for why that is not a major glitch, at least as agreed upon by like 80% of the community, is that you're skipping a trigger with intended mechanics, much like jumping over a cutscene. That's the argument most of us agreed on, mostly because this skip is pretty cool. Well, if it works, unless the first attempt I did earlier there.
okay, but can I ask you a question?
No. It will be a trick question anyway, so I'll just not answer.
It's literally, I was just gonna ask why you didn't yeet the box.
All right, yeah. I mean, I kind of
Re-
yeeted the button there, if that counts, by just straight up missing it.
Recently, a small glitch was found that allows when you push that box off of that platform, it like flies through the air all the way to the other side of this area, which is pretty funny, but not advantageous in it.
Yeah, one thing you can do here, which is sadly not, like it's 70% consistent, maybe? It's kind of hard to tell. But it works sometimes. So if you leave the prison, but at some point you start holding W on the keyboard for going up, like you're going straight up, not on the analog stick, and you might have some left or right input, like straight up. And for some reason, most of the times, the enemies will just not attack you. They'll straight up not care. Which is pretty nice because you can do this max warrant to get up to the box edit there without getting bothered by them, like without any of them teleporting in your way or so. And
Is there an awful block? Have you even been watching this game?
So one thing that can happen if you pick up, as is kind of elaborated before, if you pick up 8 sand clouds, you will get a 5th sand tank. And that's a problem because you will only have 4 slow-mo tanks, so you cannot use your Mega Freeze. Because 4 is strictly lower than 5. The last time I checked, at least. So the game says no Mega Freeze, and you have to kill 16 enemies in this fight without Mega Freeze, which is insanely slow. To be fair, usually in this run, at least I take 2 sand clouds at worst. Like this run is a very, very big exception. Mostly because I'm tired, of course. Didn't misplay in any way. It's just too late. So I just want to say 3 drinks.
So
I think the first snap was 3.
Farah can actually shoot the prince, which is what just happened there when she's aiming for enemies. They even put in voice lines for it and everything, like it's a very intended mechanic, and in a speed run it can literally it can ruin your entire run,
yes.
Which is quite hilarious. Also, these bigger blue guys are a new enemy type. As far as I know, the main difference here is that they have more HP, which isn't super relevant with the ways we kill enemies. but they also block your attacks more often, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. They will block. I would, if I had to guess, 95% of your power attack. So the only consistent thing to do to them, combat-wise, is to torpedo them. Well, or to freeze, but you rarely have the means to do that. So torpedo.
So this wall run to the lever here that Toka's about to attempt is the wall is broken. We don't know why, but a lot of the time, try to wall run, it just doesn't work.
Oh. Case in point, or however the saying goes. I just want to state that I did not stop holding war on anything. The wall
hourglass
just
is nearby.
didn't care.
I can feel
It's essentially what happened. The wall didn't care.
I can't explain it.
So we're gonna skip cutscenes, obviously, but at this point, the Prince and Farah have reached the end of their journey. They finally made it to the Sands of Time, which they can use to potentially, at least they think, undo all of these terrible things that have happened. But the prince, in his naive, immature state, refuses to rewind time because he does not want to lose Farah, because if he rewinds, they will have never met, and he has fallen in love with her, so to speak. And because of this, the journey continues, and you have more game to play. Hooray!
I thought the timer ended there. The world record by 12 minutes.
I'm afraid not, sir. You have to stay awake for at least another half an hour.
No.
Why did I trust you?
Worst thing is the next 2 minutes will consist of nothing. And when I
Oh,
say
yeah,
nothing, I
so-
don't mean cutscene, I mean nothing. This is
Yeah,
what you will see now.
They ran out of development time, and I'm guessing, and they were like, what if we had an entire 2-minute long conversation cutscene where we just showed dust?
That's so random. They could have shown anything else.
It's an Arabian Nights fairy tale, Emerald. They fell in love, okay? Just because he wants to bang her primarily does not mean they're not in love. This is how fairy tales work, I promise.
I brought this on us.
Dust of time. That's poetic. Could have shown I don't know, turtle of
There's too
time,
much
ice
to
cream
be
of time.
ours.
Could anything else
At least
would have
the
been
dagger
more
will
interesting
carry
than this.
us. And
So I would argue.
we are together. What is it?
Or father of time, you know.
You're trembling.
Maybe that's actually
Faces.
the dust
There must be
father
some way
consists
out
of.
here.
It's just
The
falling through the
particulate
screen.
matter of time.
Yeah.
Like,
When I was small, my
um,
mother taught me a secret word.
so
She said that when I was afraid,
the prince and Farah now enter a magical dream state together, and they bang in a hot spring.
I can see why.
And then the prince wakes up, and Farah has stolen all of his things. But you know, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We have to find Farah and bang her in a hot spring first,
You did that.
which honestly was the primary goal of this game so far. If you didn't know, that's really what we've been running towards this whole time.
I was not sure why chat is suddenly turning German, but I strongly disapprove of that. Unless anybody in chat knows what the word Sturmfrisur means. Don't want to hear any more German here.
Rail, I think is your name. If you asked what games this man speedruns, boy, do I have you covered. And this is a perfect time for it, because he is currently just running downstairs for the rest of his life. Deponia 3, this game, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker Co-op, Spyro Orange, Crash Bandicoot Purple, multi-Prince of Persia speedruns, Prince of Persia The Two Thrones, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Deponia 2, Knight Rider 2, Max Payne, for the Game Boy Advance I might add, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot 2, Edna and Harvey, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, The Great Earth, The Dark Eye Memoria, Deponia 1, Crash Bandicoot, Knight Rider, Uncharted, Anno 1404, Emma and the Mountains, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. He had the world record for one day, I might add.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Emma
Thanks for elaborating on that.
Emma at the Farm, Black Mirror,
All right,
Captain
this is getting
Bra,
ridiculous.
and Randall's Monday.
Just take me in your arms.
It's actually pronounced Captain Brave, but that's okay. At least
My
in the
bad.
German version, they pronounce it as Brave.
It looked like a W on. Yeah, it's a W.
Yeah, but they pronounce it Brave. I didn't make the rules. I'm just disobeying
No,
them.
thank you for educating.
Was it real? That magical cavern?
That landscape was for Curly Jefferson
It's a
Jr.
dream we both shared. I know it was.
May he rest in peace. I mean, no, he's not dead. I think he's in Florida, so feel that justifies what I said.
Oh no.
So, Farah left the prince her magical amulet here in order to protect him so he wouldn't become a sand zombie. And, just a small foreshadowing lore tidbit there, because in the next game he'll use that medallion for sand powers.
No.
Just to answer this
Hope
question before they skip, can I speedrun Half-Life? I mean, probably. Glad that this is settled. I always glad to help, of course. That's funny. Can I actually not suck? This is already very slow.
I've known you for several years. I don't know that I've ever known you to not suck, so...
Pardon? Okay, so that probably didn't save any time, but it looked cool. Also didn't save any time. I don't think I have to explain anything. It's insanely intuitive. You're supposed to do a puzzle, but you can just climb onto the fence and jump around and not do the puzzle. There's no glitch involved. You're just climbing onto a fence and walking around.
And now, we have skipped the final sword. So how will we ever beat the game?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I guess not at all. I guess the skip is just slower by 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're just gonna get to the final fight, and it's just gonna, well, guess the game's over.
Damn. So all of the end game fights, I literally could not complete right now with the sword I have. Nice roasted, because like I have the sword, so I can knock down enemies, but I cannot retrieve them. I don't have a dagger.
Oh, nice teleport.
Yes, I was actually afraid that I'll 1 FPS glitch because he was very suspiciously inside the wall.
Yeah, so without the dagger, since Farah stole it from us, we cannot rewind, which makes this last section of the game incredibly punishing in speedruns, because one small mistake and you go back minutes. And it's very interesting from a game design standpoint, as well as the game has, in a way, it's spent the entire journey teaching you how to correct your mistakes and get better at the game through the use of the rewind feature, and now it's like a final test of sorts where you have to manage on your own for the first time since the very introduction.
I think I did that with wall jumping over the fence and then landing on 2 pixels of collision. That saves, I think, 3 seconds over the other speedrun route, and probably some like 30 seconds over the casual route there.
I mean, and it just looks cool.
Looks pretty cool, actually. Yeah, that's true. Okay, we're coming up rather close to the end. For me, it should be like 7 minutes or so till we finish. Maybe 8, depending on how these bats will treat me here.
So
As we've
yes,
seen
we
before,
have a-
bats can damage boost you, and I can't rewind right now. So if I would get damage boosted, I would have to die for my run to stabilize.
So yeah, we have a lovely little thing there called YOLO bats, which Toka did not go for, but very fun way to lose your run.
50-50 skip doesn't work. Whoever claims it works is clearly wrong. Just want to say that. I'll throw it out here.
So yeah, there's a skip here that is based on absolutely no logical means at all. It just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's called 50-50 skip. And basically you just swing back and forth between these two poles, and sometimes you grab onto the ledge inside the wall.
Yes. So damage boost, as explained before, means that if you're, for example, you're jumping up or from one ladder to another in that particular case. And if during that jumping you get hit by an enemy, you will get boosted vertically, and you can use that to do rather big skips within the game. Even more so if you use slow-mo during it, you'll get boosted a lot higher. And I mean, I think we don't have to argue about that being a major glitch. Like you're literally boosting up 10 meters into the air or 30 feet,
Yeah, you
whatever that is.
just casually like fly to the top of a really tall building because a bat touched you. Seems reasonable.
So
So for
okay,
the-
yeah, no, please go on, please.
I was just gonna meme. Please continue.
So the world record for any percent should be around 37 minutes. Like that's a category with zips where you fly all around crazy. It's a pretty entertaining run to watch once or twice, but not to grind out. Or even do more than 10 runs of. So that's 37 minutes. If you ban the zip glitch, that's 10% zip glitch, you're at 1 hour 8. In single segment, in segmented, we're at 59 minutes. And the NMG world record is 1 hour 31, although it should be 129.
Farah, no!
Rest in peace, Farah.
First now carpet.
Yeah, so
That's not mean,
to
that's
say-
literally what's happening. Please don't say I'm a mean guy, although it's true.
to save on render resources. The texture at the bottom of that hole is a 2D plane. So if you like use glitches to get down there, she is literally a 2D picture. She has no model. It's quite funny to see. Even if you just take the time to like, if you like give yourself 0 HP so the enemies don't attack you, and you just like look through the hole, it's still really obvious that something's wrong. So something kind of important that we haven't mentioned, we got the final sword that we skipped earlier when we started that cutscene. Conveniently enough, if you don't have it, the game just gives it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Games like, there's literally no other way. You have to have the sword here. It's like a fail-safe or whatever.
And it's like a magical weapon of some kind. Like it's engraved with these magical runes, and it's from like this old forgotten underground temple. And so it is able to kill the sand creatures, whereas usually only the dagger do it. And I might add, it kills all of them in a single hit, which is quite powerful, obviously.
Yes. It's actually a pretty okay fight.
Yeah, that was really good.
Done.
So.
I mean, as I said, it's just a failsafe. If for some reason the game broke, like not by means of glitches, but just for whatever reason the devs didn't see.
Yeah, this game was made by Ubisoft, and even they know how broken their games are. So
I will handle this intruder.
there's really no reason to not put in some double checks here and there. So this is the most anticlimactic boss fight in a video game ever, maybe.
He's dead.
Can't say I've-
Oh no, it was only a clone. Oh
Versions
no.
are most amusing.
Can't say I've played every video
I
game.
got it. Let's go.
Did you get?
This is NMG. Trust me.
Okay, I'm sorry. You've officially gone outside the bounds of my knowledge. What did you just do?
You're essentially triggering 1 FPS at will by war running into Vizier collision.
Do you disobey?
I've taken
And
orders long enough.
Game
from
goes
a
all
senile
fucked up,
fool
but you can rewind
snivelling
that.
rat.
Unlike most 1 FPS glitches, you can rewind here and then all the textures
Father
are
was a
broken,
great warrior in his youth,
as you can see.
or so he would have the world.
So if I'm standing still, I'm invisible, but if I do something, like jumping, I have hands, I have a torso, and a head. Well, part of a head, that's about it.
Well,
Careful.
he rewound
Don't
the
tire
major
yourself.
glitch, so it's still allowed, right?
Yes. Even if it
Spoiler.
wasn't,
It's-
I'm
it's
4.5 minutes behind world record, so what the
Spoiler
fuck
alert,
ever.
it's totally not allowed.
Actually, the final cutscene of this run, which is 38 seconds long, it starts now, will be really funny, so please enjoy that. In case you're not paying close attention, look at the Vizier's legs once he stands up. Or where his legs should be.
Yeah, I saw it as he was falling down.
Internally screaming.
Beautiful. Oh, nice. Why isn't that in the face collection, honestly?
Well, I'm not sure.
Do you have any last words?
I had time is coming up, by the way, if somebody's listening and cares. It's like in 5 seconds or so. It's hit, and time. 1:35:58
Is a really good time.
by the auto spread.
And
It's actually
is
pretty
very-
fucking garbage. Okay.
Very high on the leaderboards, and this man has no recollection of what it's like to be a normal person. GG.
Thanks.
So, one final lore update real quick. The prince rewound time to before the game happened, killed the vizier before he could unleash the sands of time, and Farah doesn't remember him, which is very sad, because they never met. So now he's going to sexually assault her.
Yeah.
That I would believe such
But it's okay, because...
Because he's going to rewind it, and as we all know, just like with major glitches, that makes it okay.
You presume too much.
Like, I love his sneaky look. He's like... Nah, let's do it again.
Do you think me a child? That I would believe such nonsense?
You're right.
I'll let you do the closing sentiment.
Yeah, so for... given how
Wait,
kind of tired I am, it was an okay run. Could have gone a lot worse. After all, I'm still 4 minutes underestimate, which I'll use up by talking. And no, I'll end pretty quickly. Because cutscene is over, credits will start playing. Persia safe until we're within. Everything is like shit's fucked up again. Pardon my French. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Sands of Time NMG. Hope you had fun, because I clearly had not. But that's okay. See you around.
Bye.
Alright, guys. That was Prince of Persia. Up next, apparently, we also have Prince of Persia, because I'm an idiot and forget how to fix the next run. That's okay, though. But up next, we have Mother 3. But we're going to be doing a real quick transition over. of Runner, so I can put some music on for you guys, and we'll get that right out for you